So if you'll notice, there's trees behind me in this episode. I just bought this Dodge 5.9 Cummins turbo diesel automatic 4x4 single cab long bed in Council Bluffs, Iowa. I saw a few pictures of it and bought it pretty much sight unseen, and I'm gonna see if I can get this truck running and driving and drive it 1,300 miles back to Tucson, Arizona. So we're gonna be going over this truck with a fine-tooth comb together for the first time. Down here on this license plate, we can see that it was last registered in 2015, and that's the last time it ran. The history of this truck is that it was used as a plow truck. They took the plow off to sell it, but here is the Boss plow mount. Let's check it out. Like I said, this truck was a decommissioned plow truck. You can see the Boss plow mount, last registered in 2015. Well, I guess it was in Nebraska. I mean, Council Bluffs, Iowa is right on the border of Nebraska, so, you know, same thing, basically. We got a little bust on the grill here, which kind of hurts me a little bit because all the aftermarket Dodge grills, they don't say Dodge. That's how you know they're aftermarket. Only the originals say Dodge across the front. 89 to 93 was the first gen Cummins. In 94, they went to the second gen. Dodge used this body style for like 20 years, and they were kind of struggling in the late 80s. And to shore up their image a little bit, they partnered with Cummins, and a legend was born. This was the first turbo diesel, I think, offered to the public. There had been diesels before, but no turbo diesels. These look to be second gen rims. The first gen rims were Steelies with hubcaps. Tires, I mean, they actually look okay, which I'm real happy about because a set of tires is like $700, and if I can save that money, then I'll be more than glad to. Right here it says DOT 9U6Y. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I don't know how old these are, but they don't look to be dry rotting, but I think the rest of the truck may be a little bit. Got a little bit of this going on. Ooh, she's seen a little bit better days. We got the rocker panel hanging on by a thread. Poor girl. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. Look, that's not even a big deal, all right? It'll buff out. Looks like it's a deep bin toolbox. That doubles the value of the truck right there. We got the tail lights in it. We got a bumper. We don't have the tailgate, but that's fine. You don't need a tailgate to drive down the road. All the paint's on it. Now, 89 and 90 had a different trim going down the side here. It was kind of what they used pre-Cummins. It's more of a thicker black stripe with chrome on both top and bottom. And then this in 89 and 90 was like a little aluminum shiny strip. Looked like a piece of stainless, but I think it was aluminum. But in 91, 2, and 3, they used this black hard plastic. Suspension, we got our overloads. Yeah, I think this truck saw a little bit of salt. What do you guys think? Did she see salt once or twice, or maybe 3,400 times? Let's check out the inside. So, I mean, it looks to be all complete on the inside. We got the factory tan bench seat. We got door panels are there. She's got power windows. Power mirrors, it looks like. It does have power mirrors. Some of them had tow mirrors where there was like a couple bars that were bolted to the door and the mirrors kind of hung out more. Got a crack in the dash. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I might put a new windshield in it just to drive it because I don't care about it, but the cops do. But the dash isn't cracked. Sometimes you get these in these dashes, they get sun-baked, and you can see how it's real tan and then it's faded. The sun's been getting to it. It hasn't had a dash cover on it. Steering wheel, tilt column. The 89 and 90s had a different looking steering wheel. It didn't have all these buttons on it for the cruise control and stuff. And the steering wheel circle itself wasn't as thick. Just by the look of that, I know this has the A518. This one does not have the 3-speed 727. And she's 4x4. She's 4x4. I've never owned one of these trucks that was a 4x4. I've never messed with any 4x4 stuff. I've never had one of these trucks. And I've owned a few of these first-gen Cummins, and I've never had one that was a 4x4. You can see here the 4x4 emblem and the tires, and kind of tells you when it's engaged. The trucks that don't have 4x4 just have like a delete plate there. It's got the factory radio in it. No cassette player. The cassette player would have been here. But it does have a factory-style radio in it, which is kind of cool, Chrysler. Got our cigarette ashtray holder. The towing kit had trailer brakes attached to it. And I did see a 7-prong plug-in down at the back. The armrest is blown out. These trucks were real bad about the armrests coming off. They come off right here. They always come off. They start pulling off right there. The aftermarket, they sell the wood replacements. They're hard. It's not really an armrest. It's like a brick. But yeah, this one's still on it. It's still soft. These Dodges really had problems with headliner. The headliner in these trucks is almost never there. It's always gone. It sags down. You can see someone's tried to repair it with like there's these little tacks you can screw into the foam. You know, it's still ripped either way, but it is what it is. This one says the 4x4 stuff on it, which is cool. So we know this wasn't a conversion. It came that way. All the trim around, that stuff always is missing. This trim, they don't make in the aftermarket, and it always cracks. It's so brittle, even if you're not abusive to it, even if you don't mess with it, they always crack here and on the other side in the same spot. We're having 225,000 miles. I'm surprised that this isn't more tore up. I'm pretty sure that's the inside of the cab that I'm looking at. That's the headlight switch up there. Not a big deal. Oh my gosh. Oh, stop coming off. I'll just leave it. It's fine. Got your 5.9 Cummins drain plug, the A518 4-speed non-lockup overdrive, and then you have your cross member transfer case, all that stuff, your speed sensor right there, how fast you're going. We got one strap, and we got one strap that's rusted off. I don't know how that's staying up. I don't know why that's not coming down. Might have to strap that up with like a trailer strap if we get this thing going. Exhaust is rusted off right here behind the transmission. We're batting 1,000. Don't worry about it. We're batting 1,000 so far. Let's check out the engine, huh? Let's see here. Might already be popped. Headlight switch. There she is, in all her glory. Isn't she beautiful? Love these motors. I might regret saying that because I don't know what's wrong with it, but in general, I love these motors. It's all there. You got your VE rotary style injection pump, the fuel filter right there with the water sensors on it. The lift pump is there behind it. Got our booster and our master. Somebody's replaced this booster. I can see the tag on it. Radiator hoses they're pliable. I mean, that's totally usable. Look at that. Oh, she's got coolant in her, which means there's no coolant leaks, and probably the head gasket's good. Let's see here. This looks to be off like somebody was monkeying with it. That oil filter doesn't look too old either. Let's see if the turbo turns. I can feel a hair bit of end play, you know, but she spins freely. That's a good sign too that it isn't locked up, it's not overheated, and something got tore up in there maybe. Tranny fluid. Let's give this a pop. Way over full, but that might change once we start it and put her in nitrality. But it's got fluid. This is a great sign. She's got oil in her. Looks to be above the safe mark a little bit, but we'll wipe it off and check it again. But it just smells like oil. It doesn't smell like anything else, so that's another good sign. Let's check out the brake fluid and just see. She's full. Okay, maybe not. So if I remember right, the back does the front and the front does the back. So we got front brakes. Something's going on with our rears, and not sure what yet. Boy, that fluid though. Yee. She goes all the way to the floor. Just how you want it, right? Well, I might have found the problem. These rear brake lines are wafer thin. I mean, wafer thin. It's just coming off in my hands. See that? These rear brake lines could be toast. And coming over to the other side, you can see that they are just as bad. The hose looks to be okay going to the junction, but these rear brake lines are definitely questionable. And it looks like somebody's replaced them once. They did this Mickey Mouse clubhouse wrap around in a circle thing. I'm gonna put a pipe wrench on this crank and see if she's locked up or not before we put a battery in it. I did buy a battery from Wally World. I got my pipe wrench on it. There we go. She's moving. She's definitely moving. Perfect. Let's stick a battery in it. Positive? Oh. I heard a little tick on that first tap. And I do think we have keys. He said the keys were in the ignition. And we'll just give that old key switch a start, see if it's all hooked up. See an oil light. The brake lights are coming on, and I even hear a radio. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, that's so cool. I love it when these old radios work. That's so cool. FM? Oh yeah, baby. It's cool. Okay, let's see. Fan? We got fan action. I don't know if I can hear the AC compressor clicking. I don't think I hear it out there. But that's cool. Oh, she's stuck. Oh gosh. She's stuck. Alright, what do you say we give her a bump? Oh yes. Yes. She sounds healthy. I mean, that's what they should sound like. That sounds healthy. I am liking that. One thing I'd like to know though is if there's any gas in the tank. When you turn the key on, you should see the gas gauge sort of move to kind of where it's supposed to be. And I don't think I see it moving. I am not sure if that gas gauge is working, but I got an idea for that. I'm gonna use these two tires in the bed as a stand since I don't have one. Now there's a lift pump on the side of the block, and the lift pump is just a mechanical fuel pump that you would see on a small block Chevy or whatever. All it does is supply the injection pump with fuel, and the injection pump pressurizes it and sends it to the right injector at the right time. Now the lift pump has a lever on it to prime the system, and I'm going to try and use that lever to see if I can get any gas out. And if that diaphragm's bad, that lever's not going to do anything, and I'll have to hook my electric fuel pump up. If that gas gauge isn't working, we'll have to manually see. Okay, I feel resistance on the lift pump when I push the lever, so that means it's pumping. And we're on the dead side of the cam, because these lift pumps, they won't work, and you'll think they're bad because they operate off the camshaft. And if it's on the high side of the lobe of the cam, your lift pump won't work because it's already pushing the lever in, so you're not going to get anything. It has to be out and flat for that lever to do anything. So let's crack open the line and see if any fuel comes out. Crack this open. I already see something coming out, like it's a little bit wet. Let's see what comes out, if anything. Oh. I might have already gave it a little prime. Oh yeah, that looks good. It smells good too. I'll crank this shut, and before I go any further, I'm going to replace this fuel filter right here. I have no idea how old it is or what the history of it is, so we'll put a new one of these on and we'll prime it up. I'll put some tranny fluid in the filter, then we will go ahead and we'll try and bleed the injectors, see if we can get it to run on our own 2 feet. So big and nice, and put off so much shade. The last tumbleweed in Tucson is dead and begging for mercy. It's 110,000 degrees there. there's a light on the dash, and that's what this sensor is. It says water in fuel when that light comes on. The new filter I got doesn't have a hole in the bottom because sometimes these tend to leak, and I didn't want a possibility of it leaking. Here we go. I knew it. Bingo, baby. So before I tighten it, let's see, I'll leave it a little loose. I'll tighten up that bolt I unloosened, and then we'll prime the filter. And then after that, we'll loosen the injectors and get working on those. Oh. Door number 6. If the injection pump is doing what it's supposed to do, which I'm hoping it is. You can get a lot of stuff at a parts store, but you can't go get an injection pump. That's probably the most complicated piece of machinery besides the engine itself. To conserve my battery, before I cranked it, I thought about something. Key on power operates the fuel shutoff solenoid. Pulls the plunger up so fuel can go through. If that plunger's not working, I can crank and crank and crank till kingdom come, and I won't get anything out of those injectors. And I don't want to find that out after my battery is dead. So I got my test light here hooked up to ground, and I'm trying to test to see if I have key on power to that solenoid. Alright, so nothing there. Nothing there. Let me see if the key is on. Yeah, key is on. There we go. Alright, so we have ground. So this should have power. One of them should have power, key on. So I'm getting nothing there, and I'm getting nothing here. So we would have been duping ourselves into thinking that the injection pump might not be working. So I'm going to jump that plunger, power, and let's try one of these. Oh, let me put my mic up, you can hear it. Hear it? Let's hook that up and try it. I saw something. She's gonna run, baby. I can't see in the truck. This one was getting it, getting it, getting it, getting it, getting it, getting it. Okay, let's try it again. Another few cranks, and then I'll tighten them. And we should have liftoff before nightfall. All right, we got one. Okay, here we go. Before I do it, the boot of the turbo is still off. I have that ATF fluid bottle there. It's flat. I can put it against the turbo if it runs away. I'm worried about it running away in the sense that sometimes these injection pump governors get stuck in like the full throttle position, and when you start it, it really scares you and you can't get it to stop if those governor weights are stuck. So if I have to shut it down with putting something over the turbo, I will, because I have had that happen once. The governor was stuck and it freaked me out. So yeah. Yes. I'm not getting any steering at Oh. Oh yeah, that's a Cummins right there. We got oil pressure. Is it reading volts? No way. Let's put a meter on it and see if it's reading volts. Or charging, I should say. Charging. That's a good sign. The electrical system's working. Injection pump seems to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. Hopefully that thermostat starts cycling. I want to let it run for a bit. Plastic's kind of faded, but the oil pressure is good, very good. I wonder if these work. Ah, cargo light, let's see. It's hard to tell in the daylight. Maybe the light is burnt out. I am not touching that overdrive button. Not going there. I'm still not getting any steering at all. I wonder if that power steering pump is empty. We gotta check that. We got blinkers. Oh yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's see outside though. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's legal beagle. Let's see if we got it in the back. Oh no. I don't think I see it working in there. Let's check up here. No. This one's working. I'd say it's just some bulbs. See that? You can see it moving the needle too. I bet the headlights are working. Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. Man, we got nothing back here, man. You guys are party poopers. Come on. Come on. Dare we try the transmission? I'm too scared right now. I want to check that power steering. I don't have power steering fluid specifically. I'm going to just throw ATF in it. I mean, that should be fine. Hopefully that power steering will come around. Unless we got a big old fat leak. I don't see anything. Let's try and turn the wheel. She's coming around. Oh yeah. She's coming around. She's kind of groaning a little. I can feel it. We might have a leak somewhere that we'll find out about, but oh, fan clutch is working actually. Ah. And I have not tried the transmission yet. I should. That's actually the next thing I should try. I'm going to be real careful about it though, because put a block under the back, because you can see that somebody has meticulously put some dirt mounds right here, because there's a whole ravine back there that I'm not about to test how deep it is. So the window works, but if you hear this one, what happens to these window motors, which a lot of people don't know, it's actually an easy fix. I can't do it at this moment. You have to take the door panel off, but there's actually like 3 little circular clutch materials inside those motors. And basically what it's to prevent is from somebody, you know, putting their neck in there, rolling up and killing themselves. If the window gets stuck halfway up and you're pushing the button, those clutch materials are designed to break, but it'll disengage the window, so the window won't roll up and down to save you or to save somebody. But what happens over time is that clutch material breaks inside that window motor anyways, and so you can hear the window motor turning, but it's not engaging the window. Don't you love that? P-pumps don't even start that fast. Yes. Yeah, baby. Okay. I think that's neutral. Hey! Let's not do that. Let's not give her the beans in reverse. Hey, she's working. I'm just going to assume that it gets all 4 gears. Yeah, see ya. She goes. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh no, she's about to spill everywhere. And the plan now is to put some new oil in it, and even though I could do this anytime, you know, I'm doing it now because I'm really just procrastinating on the brakes because I know that we're gonna have to deal with those. It's getting late and I don't want to open that can of worms right now, this very moment. I never took the oil cap off to see if there's any blow by. I was so excited that it even ran, I didn't even check it, but there's a breather tube underneath and I didn't see a ton of smoke coming out of it, so it was running pretty good. But I put some brake fluid in that front reservoir on the master, and I'm just gonna hit these brakes and see what happens, and if anything I can at least see where the leak is. It's sucking it down pretty good. See that? Yeah, there's a hole in the brake line, and if you come over here, you can see it's leaking right here. Whether they're gonna come off of those wheel cylinders or not, that is another story. That's gonna be another fight. There's a drip coming from this mess. This right here has a hole in it somewhere. This proportioning valve kind of thing, but it is just, I mean, it's on its way out. This is bad. This whole line is bad. We got a lot going on here. I'm thinking that I might be able to plug off the back and just use the fronts. Fronts are in better shape because there's a proportioning valve that I know is a proportioning valve in the front. So I don't know what this is. So it's officially the next morning. I got out here bright and early to tackle these brakes. I was thinking all night about what to do, and the rear brakes, I'm considering a lost cause at this point. I showed you guys yesterday, but I don't trust anything that goes from here to the back. I don't trust any of it, and even if I tried to fix it, I just don't have the time. I don't even think the nuts are going to come off the back of the wheel cylinders to put new lines on. I don't know if those wheel cylinders are locked up. You could spend all day fixing them and then figure out your wheel cylinders are bad. Now the front brakes, however, are in better condition. So I'm going to take both of the lines off the master, run a direct line from the master to the front brakes, and cap off the rears, essentially. Just got back from the parts store, and I got this fitting that will screw into the master, and then it has a step down nut on it and a union, and then I got this copper line, which is an easy bend. I'm gonna go get a line wrench and tighten that up. I mean, it's there. It's spongy, but it is there. And I don't think, I can't bleed the front brakes because the bleeders are rusted shut, and I can already see I'm gonna break them, and then if I break it open, it's over. While I was out, I also got some of those star bits to take the taillight lens off, because you can't use an Allen. I don't have a screwdriver small enough, and I bet you're wondering why I'm using a vice grip. In all my infinite wisdom, I forgot to pack a 3/8 ratchet. I have 3/8 sockets, but I don't have a ratchet. Well, I got the wrong bulbs. Gosh dang it. I am getting no power, or I might not have a good ground. I don't know. Well, here's the problem. Everything's unhooked. Alright, so I had to twist these wires together, and I had to make up my own ground. And I just twisted it together for the other side too. We'll see if the taillights work now. It's a switch. Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh, it's working. Brake light. It's working. Finally. Don't do that to me. See what happened. Gotta pump them up, but they work. They're coming around. Still wish I could bleed them though. Yeah, they're there, but they're sketchy. All right, I think we're pretty much ready, as ready as I can be to go 1,300 miles. I'm gonna go return the truck. It's all up to this to get us back home. So I'm airing up this tire at the gentleman's shop I bought the truck from. I won't use the shop to air these up. I have to tear that off before we go. Officially on the road now. First place to hit is a gas station because I have no idea how much gas is in that gas tank. So I just threw 80 bucks at it and we'll see how far we get. I mean, really the more empty it is, the better, because I don't know what kind of diesel's in there, how old it is, so put some fresh fuel in it and, you know, do her right. Well, it took 15.5 gallons, so it's like a 25-gallon tank, so it had 10 gallons in it, so pretty good. So I'm 20 miles away now from where the truck was sitting. I stopped at a Walmart just in case I needed something when I was checking some things, because I want to check a few things. And I want to check the differential fluid in the front and rear differential. I want to check the transfer case gear fluid. And something else I noticed is that the amp gauge is going like really high. And all that water is from the battery. The alternator is overcharging the battery because the voltage regulator, which is right there, that square piece, that voltage regulator must be bad. And I did notice there was a new voltage regulator in the truck, like in the cab when I got the truck, so whoever had it before me noticed the same issue. But good news is it's not getting hot, and the brakes are kind of well, they're Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, you know. I mean, we got the front one not working, but the good news about that is we're not losing fluid. So it's not leaking. So if it's, as long as it stays that way, I mean, I'll be happy. Yeah. So good thing we checked that, because if we tear this transfer case up, this whole 4x4 system is basically worth nothing. Good thing I stopped 20 miles in. Yeah, she's full. Well, I was tightening it. My bad. I mean, she's a little low. See, Walmart comes in handy when you need them. And I'm keeping my feet underneath this truck because you have yourself sprawled out there, someone pulls in not paying attention, and you ain't got no legs, like Lieutenant Dan. Transfer case is now full. It took 2 full quarts and some change of that one, so yeah, I think we avoided catastrophe. This is like a half full quart. I think it's starting to come out now. See it? I also put the new voltage regulator in, so let's see if that changes anything. It was going up to like way over here. It was like bouncing and stuff, so. But I think there's a conveniently placed Wendy's over there that's calling my name. And then we'll get back out on the road. We're only 20 miles away and still another 1,300 miles to go to home, so. Oh, still a lot in between that could happen. Well, that was our first real stretch of highway. I think we've gone about 200 miles. Still seeing a little bit of water on the top of this battery, but it's not as bad. I think that voltage regulator might be working. She's running good. She's not overheating. Let's squeeze this. Look at that. When a truck's trying to overheat, this will be firm like a rock. So it's getting warm, but it's definitely not overheating. Let's check the brake fluid real quick. Full. I don't know if that's for me or the person before, but when I get back from eating, I'll come out and take a look at what this looks like. All in all, the truck's done pretty good. I'm not sure why, but I can only do like 60 miles an hour. I was kind of worried that the four-wheel drive might be engaged unbeknownst to me, but the light's not on, but that doesn't mean anything. The electrical system's kind of wonky. I mean, four-wheel drive could be on, but the hubs are in free, not lock. So I'm not sure. I don't think the four-wheel drive's on. I'm not sure it would have made it 200 miles if it was, but 60 miles an hour is about what we got, but we got a long way to go. I'm traveling entirely through the heartland of America, and I like showing some of these farming operations. I think it's fascinating. This is the kind of stuff that keeps America going. This is the kind of stuff that keeps the wheels turning in this country. These are the people that are putting food on the table. This stuff that nobody sees, these quote-unquote flyover states. I mean, this is where communities are. This is where people are. This is where the salt of the earth is. I don't know a whole lot about farming, never have done it, grew up in Tucson all my life, but I got a lot of respect for the people that do it all their lives, because I know it's a hard way to make a buck. I know this probably isn't a family operation, this specific plant, but no matter how you cut it, farming or ranching or anything dealing with animals and plants and crops is a hard-earned dollar, like a truly hard-earned dollar. And what's really fascinating is it's such a necessary industry. I mean, it is like the most necessary industry. We all have to eat, and such a small percentage of the population make all of the food because, you know, we have such great advancements in technology that none of us, including myself, admittedly, know a lot about the food chain anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we don't understand our roots, so to speak, because we don't have to actually get out there and grow corn or wheat or milk a cow or anything like that. But that farmer off to my left or to my right is making enough food for hundreds of people to eat, even me. So while he's out farming, I can make videos, and he can watch my videos at night, and I can buy food from him in the morning. So it all works out, don't it? Well, good morning, guys. It is officially the beginning of day 3 with this old 5.9 Cummins. We drove about 360, 370 miles yesterday. Truck did really good. I think we're getting about 20 to 21 miles to the gallon. If you're wondering where I'm at, I stayed in the Bates Motel last night, but I really liked it. Honestly, this is my kind of vibe of place. I woke up to the sound of Jake brakes. I don't know if I'll be able to clear 1,000 miles today. I'm gonna give it my best shot so I don't have to stay in another motel and, you know, spend another 60 bucks or whatever, but let me show you this room. Got our little homely lamp with a door knocker and a real key. None of those fancy key fobs you see at the Motel 8 or the Super 6 or whatever. Real key, just like your own front door. Look at this room. I mean, this is honestly a relic. This is the kind of wood paneling they had in the 70s. I know because my house was built in the 70s, and this is what I replaced. So I don't think this room has been updated since 1976. I mean, this hotel could be in a movie. I'm serious. We got the Mac Daddy pimp chair off to the side. You gotta have an ashtray. Gotta have an ashtray in 2023. Got ourselves a microwave. But look at this mini fridge right here. Even the mini fridge has got that wood paneling. I don't know if that's from the 70s too or how old that is, but I like it. Another light from the 60s or 70s. I know for a fact I've seen that exact lampshade in my grandma's house. And that one too. I know it. Popcorn ceilings. Got a picture frame around the air conditioner. Oh man. I was real worried I wasn't going to find a room last night because, I mean, I'm in the middle of Kansas. There's nothing. I'm not on any major highways. Thank God the truck didn't break down and I was able to find a motel real late last night. So anyway, let's get back on the road, get some food, keep on trucking. These boys are already out. I got to catch up to them. 5-star review on Google. Check the engine oil. I mean, we're way above the safe line. I don't think it's using much of any oil. This is a good motor. This is a really good motor. Brake fluid is looking, maybe we've used a hair bit, but it's definitely not pouring out. Still got that soft pedal pump the brakes situation going. I think that's gonna persist the whole way home. I don't think I've seen any coolant coming out anywhere. Yeah, coolant's totally good. Only thing I do want to do is I got to do something about this heater because it's stuck in full blast heater mode, and I'm thinking of just rerouting these heater hoses and just looping them because, oh my gosh, it's already summertime and it's just blowing 140 degree air right in the cab. So it's honestly a little annoying, and it's just a tad bit nerve-wracking. That should be good. Route back inside of itself instead of routing in the truck. I'm burning my guts out. So I'm somewhere in Kansas and I had to stop here to get gas, and check out this old Tucson diesel pump. All analog, all mechanical. I just thought this was so cool. And what's even better is it's just a single pump on a single pedestal. It's the only pump all out here by its lonesome. I go in and the guy says, just go outside and fill up whatever you need and then come in and pay. You imagine? Honor system still in full effect out here. But hey, in other news, the gas gauge started working. Made it to Albuquerque. That's 1,000 miles down so far. I was gonna give you guys a little treat. I was gonna eat at the Los Pollos Hermanos that was in Breaking Bad. I went there and it was closed. I'm a fan of Breaking Bad. If you've never seen Breaking Bad, I really like that show, and the Los Pollos Hermanos is close to me, but I ate at a McDonald's instead. Oh well. Truck has been doing good. 300 miles to go, and I'm gonna get in probably very, very late tonight, almost early morning. Morning. So yesterday, made it just over 700 miles, 763 miles, I think, to be exact, from a little above Oakley, Kansas to Deming, New Mexico. When I started out yesterday, I thought if I really pushed myself, I can make it home in one go, even if I got back early morning. That didn't happen, no way. And then I thought, all right, well, I'll make it to the last leg, make it to I-10, then I'll pull off. It didn't happen either. So I stopped in Deming. There's no way I was gonna make it to I-10. I was just too tired. I think I started out at 10:30 a.m. yesterday and finally called it quits at 2:30 a.m. yesterday. 10 to 10 is, well, there's a time change. So 10 to 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, minus an hour. 13 hours of driving. She's not even offering to get warm. The needle on the temp gauge isn't even at half. It's a little below half. Injectors aren't leaking where I tightened them, you know, when we bled them. So that's nice and dry. My heater hose fix is working. This thing's never been converted to R134. This is still R12. You can tell because these are the Schrader valves that you put your gauges onto if you want to fill it and stuff. And they sell kits where you can screw on the fittings that are R134 compatible. So it's still R12. Let's see if there's any in it. I heard a little pressure come out. I don't see this truck smoking a bunch. I don't think it's using much oil, and I don't see any drips on the block. Right there at the safe mark, right in between the high and the low of the safe mark, so pretty dang good. So yeah, we still got, you know, I checked this thing hot and in neutral and it was still a little over full, but the transmission did just fine. Our master cylinder started to go though somewhere throughout the night. You can see how wet it is. It's starting to come out that hole. It's dripping off of the it's dripping off the master, off the booster, onto the frame and everything. So living on borrowed time with this thing. It's going. This front differential is soaked. The pinion seal's going bad in it, and it's dripping on the ground a little bit. I can see now why I had to add so much fluid to it, because the rear shaft seal or the pinion seal or whatever you want to call it, this shaft seal is leaking too. You can see it's been leaking all this caked on oil, but since I filled it up and started driving it again, it's dripping for sure. And the rear differential, it's also soaked and dripping. I noticed last night it's dripping from the pan cover and maybe the pinion seal too. Gotta keep an eye on that. Strap's holding up on the gas tank. I'm gonna check the fluid levels in the differentials and see if I can get any fluid if it needs it at this truck stop. They sell odds and end fluids sometimes. And they cut the cable to the e-brake, so I got no e-brake. Tires are holding there, man. I can't believe that. Now that tire is questionably bald. And another thing I'm noticing is I've had to have my hand pulling on the steering wheel this side the entire time I've been driving, because if I let it go, it veers off to the right real bad. So, but I could have swore we had tread on this tire back in Nebraska or Iowa or whatever. I could have swore we had tread on this thing. I have to go back and look at the video. I don't remember this being bald like that. Something with the tire alignment. We'll put on the old stingy brim and get gone. Look at that. Not even one full revolution.
Might find something you love.
This 5.9 Cummins took me from Council Bluffs, Iowa to Tucson, Arizona, a 1,300-mile trip. Now, these engines are truly a piece of the rock, because anything could have happened in between there and here, no matter what engine it was. But I just love these 12 valves. I don't think it's moved under its own power in many years. And there was no plan B. This thing had to get me here, and it did. I'm gonna clean up some of my tools, my bag, and then I wanna maybe do like an assessment, like what the future of this truck could be, you know, what is salvageable on it. Because before you knock it in the head, I mean, there's a lot of good parts on it. It is a complete truck with all the 4x4 stuff. Huh. It's the cab. I think the cab is so rusty.
Oh, it fell down? Frame is really, really, really bad.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad.
It's bad. There's no arch in the springs. Oh, there is no emergency brake. That's rotted off. Yeah, it's riding on the bump stops. The springs are arched in the wrong direction, I guess, when they was using it for a snow plow. The frame don't look busted, but the cabs fell down to the point where the doors gapped out. It's a good thing you pulled up here.
Yeah, in the shade.
Oh, good thing that you didn't try to get a window put in it, because they wouldn't have been able to attach it to anything. That's what's holding the roof up. Once you pull that window out, that whole thing's going to come off. So they wouldn't have been able to put a window in it anyway. I wonder why there's even a bed in it.
Bed itself isn't rotted, but the rails and stuff are.
Yeah, I bet you they made it out of some kind of a galvanized mixture. You're lucky you didn't hit a great big old bump and the whole truck just fall down in the front. It's gone all the way back. Quite a ways. I mean, you could have actually seen that drive shaft under there.
So my consensus on the truck in the end is that the body is pretty much done for. We know that. It's not a total loss by any means. The truck just made it 1,300 miles. There are so many parts on this truck that are sought after and valuable and can be used. I mean, at this point in the game, there's people taking their non-intercooled trucks and trying to convert them into intercooled trucks. And this has all the intercooled parts on it, all the way from front to back. There's people looking for the motors, you know, I mean, we all know that. There's people out there that want that 12-valve motor. You try and piece stuff together, you know, it takes so long. You can buy the motor, but sometimes it doesn't come with the fan, clutch fan assembly, or it doesn't come with the adapter plate, or it doesn't come with the flywheel, it doesn't come with, you know, the accessories that you need, and you have to go find all that stuff. All the 4x4 stuff, you got to have the correct rear ends, you got to have the hubs, you have to have, I already saw underneath, the cross member for the transmission is not the same as my two-wheel drive A518, so the four-wheel drive has a different cross member, you have to have that. I see on the forums, because I'm a part of these forums, the lengths people will go and the time people will spend to take their two-wheel drive Cummins and turn it into a four-wheel drive. You basically need the entire truck. All the dash is there, the gauges work, you know, and I know how hard this stuff is to find because in my 90 Cummins, it took me over a year to find a working factory radio. Yeah, a year. I'm that crazy. I did not want an aftermarket radio, and I went through 3 that didn't work before I finally got one that worked, and nobody fixes them. They're digital radios. Nobody out there fixes these radios. You just have to happen upon one that works. Dad and me, we really appreciate your guys' views. Thank you for subscribing. Leave a comment down below, leave some feedback. And if you have any more first or second gen Cummins for sale, definitely email me. My email is right here. Looking for trucks that are like abandoned, haven't ran in a long time. I would really be interested in doing another fly and drive. I really like these trucks. I have a passion for these first gen Cummins and second gens too, but the first gens kind of have my heart because I grew up in one. My dad still has the one I grew up in, so I'm partial to these trucks, even though I know the second gens are technically better, mechanically wise, whatever. We will see you in the next one.